Make sure you're subscribed to Jerk Crispy.
What's up, y'all? It's your most Desmos. You crispy? Why everybody love Yeat? Everybody be sleeping on Yeat till you gotta listen. Like you gotta listen to Yeat at least about twice. First time you listening to it, all right, yeah, okay. Yeah, he good. Second time here, oh, this man actually is hard. Good. I see why he's up there. I'm telling you.
Shortly after dropping the
Anyways, we're on the road to 500, and let's see what's going on with this.
biggest album of his career, Yeat found himself at rock bottom. His core fans turned on him, saying he'd sold out, former friends tried to blackball him for changing his sound, and behind the scenes, he was relapsing due to all the backlash. He even tried to win everyone back with a full-on Rage album later that same year, but it only made things worse, with the project being classed by fans as his worst ever. Yet somehow in 2025, he flipped the narrative completely, from being finished and washed to headlining festivals worldwide, dropping one of the biggest rap songs of 2025, and reminding everyone why he's the only SoundCloud rapper in recent times to make it this far. So this is why everyone loves Yeat. So let's bring it back to the start of 2024, where Yeat was at the peak of his career. He was sitting at around 30 million monthly listeners after his and Drake's song I Don't Give a F went
I don't care about D8. Please start mentioning D8. I don't give a fuck about D8.
#1 worldwide.
I love playing. I just love joking like that. I could joke all day.
This was really important for him. He had so much hype and attention around his name after his impressive performance on the song that his next album had to be a big one. It was the perfect opportunity to go seriously mainstream. This had to be Yeat's Whole Lotta Red or his Eternal Take. The chance of him getting this much anticipation around his name again is near impossible. So he had a lot to prove, not only to keep progressing his career as a mainstream artist, but to prove himself as more than just a TikTok meme rapper. So on the 16th of February in 2024, he would drop 2093, with Yeat himself explaining in an interview of O32C magazine how much of a change in sound this album was. Between the last record and this upcoming one, it feels like a 10-album difference in time. People have no idea what it's going to sound like. It's like 2093 dystopian society. Unlike his previous albums where Yeat was rapping on tragic and Benny X rage beats, Yeat dropped a Travis Scott-esque, futuristic, experimental album, something no one really thought he was capable of. Now, 2093 would end up debuting at the number 2 spot on the Billboard 200 albums chart, selling a very impressive 73k first week. But the issue was, this album had very mixed reviews, with it really splitting Yeat's fanbase in half. While some fans enjoyed the more lyrical, cyberpunk style of music, a lot of OG Yeat fans were upset he abandoned his old sound, especially considering the fact 2093 wasn't the original album that was supposed to drop. At first, Yeat planned to drop Lifestyle, which fans refer to as Lifestyle V1, not to confuse it with the actual Lifestyle released album. On this Lifestyle V1 project, he was supposed to drop trending snippets such as Lil Crazy and Time Passed. We never got a real reason why this project didn't drop, but if I had to guess, it would be because around this time, Yeat was facing a lot of criticism for making the same old rage music with Benny X over and over again, similar to what Ken Carson is facing right now, constantly dropping grungy rage music.
Some of this do sound repetitive. Okay. It don't matter though, man. I feel like
there you go. Stop.
Prove himself as more than just a TikTok rapper. On the society. Unlike his previous epic, a lot of OG Time Passed. We never got a real reason why this project didn't drop, but if I had to guess, it would be because around this time, music.
Some of this do sound repetitive.
Okay, of course. Wait, I gotta move. No. It's just showing a clip. Hold on, wait. Yeah, I'm gonna move regardless. Of course, people gonna hate regardless of what you do of any song or the song. Like for me, if I drop a song, I be trying to switch up my flow so much, bro. Not like I could keep my same flow, but I'm trying to like people know that I could do this and do that, and learn stuff. You know, when I start, dropping my music back to back to back. But I got some music out now, so y'all go check that out when y'all can.
Okay. It don't matter though, man. I feel like he gonna evolve. Like once it come out, it's gonna be good, bro. These just snippets. He see what they fuck with, what not.
Some fans even started suggesting Yeat needs to get back on substances just to make his music better again, which is pretty insane. And I mean, if you didn't know, 2093 was the first album Yeat did sober, with the majority of the project being him describing his battles with substances. And it seemed like the backlash really got to Yeat, as shortly after the release of 2093, he would try returning to his previous style. On the 3rd of May, he would drop a 2-pack of songs, King Tonka and Heavy Stunts. 2 songs which were new songs, but definitely nothing like that 2093 sound. But this only made matters worse, as even though he returned to his old geeker sound, it wasn't the same. So think about it, he was in a very sticky position. The new fans he gained from 2093, they didn't like this rage sound. And then his OG fans that like the rage sound, well, these new songs he just dropped, they don't hit the same. Some fans even pointed out that in an Instagram live snippet, there was a line of sugar on the table, seeming like Yeat was unfortunately back on substances, potentially due to the backlash from his own fans. Even some of Yeat's friends in the industry began calling him out for this. Can tweeted, "Fella start making like EDM and lost his fans, now MFers trying to be buddy again, SMH. When will you realise that formula will never work? Use black, then make white music, then go back to blacks when MFers not F with it. It only works for Post Malone, that's it." And it wasn't just Can. Yeat's biggest competitors, Opium, also started dissing him, with it seeming like everyone was turning on Yeat.
Like y'all gotta realize, when people start saying that stuff, it's either they hate you or they want to be in your position, or they will die or kill to try to be in your position very bad. Cause you see how everybody was hating on that man Yeat. They were saying, man, that man falling off and this and that, and like everybody was saying, oh, that man ain't never coming back, this and that. Oh, he ain't that no more. And you see how everybody talk about, oh my God, Yeat, Yeat, I've been listening to your song since 1993. Oh my God, that was so hard. Like, nigga, you was not there with them long nights. So the fans was hating me, telling me go back to my stuff. And then when I went back, everybody went like no. Fans be bipolar too. You gotta realize that fans worse than I ain't saying worse than females now. I take that back. They fans do be acting like some females. Yeah, I feel them.
Yeat. Let's just say this was a quite difficult position in his career. Whilst 2093 was a huge success, with songs like If We're Being Real and Breathe being 2 of his biggest songs with hundreds of millions of streams, he was also facing pressure from a lot of his fans and underground listeners in general to return to his old style. So, in an attempt to prove everyone wrong and show everyone he's the greatest, Yeat would announce on his Instagram story that he would be dropping 2 full-length albums this year. And if you know Yeat's work ethic, that wasn't even a surprise, because back in like 2021 he dropped 3 albums, in 2022 he dropped an album and a deluxe and an EP. He's just built different. So
I don't know, for some reason, I don't know if this is just me, I don't know, I never just drop a deluxe album. They just me though. I don't know, if a fan want a deluxe album, then I'll do a deluxe album, but
brings us on to Yeat's Lifestyle, released in the October of 2024, his second album of the year, featuring the likes of Summers, Don Toliver, Kodak Black and Lil Durk. Yeat dropped a full Rage project, a full 180 from the album he dropped just 8 months ago. However, it didn't end up working out like he wanted it to, as this project also had very mixed reviews. The quote-unquote OG fans were pleased Yeat returned to the Rage style, but again, it really wasn't the same, and felt like a worse, dumbed down and less exciting version. And then his newer fans that actually enjoyed 2093, they weren't interested in this at all. I think Anthony Fantano, and I know a lot of people don't like him, but yeah.
Oh God, bro. It's just that Me Cannon video. Every single time I see that man's face, Well, me, Kenny, you know you're wrong for that.
Explained it perfectly. It's like he regressed.
And even though Lifestyle here is coming out not that much long after, I still went into this project with high hopes. But I guess I should have known better, because if you are at all familiar with Yeat's catalog and trajectory, the title here most definitely signifies something: regression. It's funny because as successful as that album was, there was a very loud and vocal contingent of people in Yeat's fan base who wanted him to go back to a sound and a writing style that was more reminiscent of his records such as To Alive.
Personally, I found 2093 a way more interesting sounding album. As someone who found Yeat on 4L, this album is okay. Production gets samey after a while, it doesn't change too much, and his energy isn't the same to make up for it. This project really felt like a step down for Yeat standards. Repetitive beats due to the use of the same patterns, majority of the songs being looped, his flows were boring, nothing exciting, and overall it just lacked diversity. Most Yeat fans literally call this project loop style due to its repetitiveness. There were some great songs though: Orchestrate, Be Quiet, and then the more experimental tracks such as Gone for a Minute and Forever Again, which were incredible. And that's standard for Yeat, he's a hitmaker. But yeah, overall you could tell he took less pride in this album compared to 2093. He himself stated that the entire project only took around 4 hours to make. And I think he knows this album wasn't too good, as recently in an Instagram story, he posted himself putting his middle finger up to the project. I'm not sure what he meant by that. And numbers wise, the project's performed quite poorly. At first you might see, wow, it sold 89k first week and debuted #1. But when you actually look into the numbers, he only sold 29k from actual streaming. The rest were from merch bundles and vinyls, which was very disappointing as this meant Yeat sold less than his 2022 project To Alive. Let's just say it was definitely a very confusing point in Yeat's career, and if not rock bottom. He completely switched up his style and dropped an experimental album, but now has basically regressed, you could say, gone back to his OG style to please his fans, but even they don't like it. So now the question is, what does Yeat do next? Can he rebuild his hype? Because the 29k first week looked quite worrying. And what style is he even going to go with? And let's just say moving into 2025, Yeat took matters seriously. On the 18th of April, Yeat would drop The Bell, a great comeback track, his typical rage sound but reinvented. Fun ad-libs, interesting verses, he was singing, and the song wasn't a loop. Mix this in with the fact that shortly after, Yeat would be performing at Coachella with a huge inflatable 50-foot bell. Yeat was slowly making the right moves to regain his aura. 3 months later in June, we would get another single. Once again, same as The Bell, his old rage sound but fresh. Firstly, the song was produced by Benny X, who was only featured once on his last 2 albums, which was weird as he's produced many of Yeat's biggest hits. Secondly, once again, the song was just simply fun and actually interesting. Then throughout the summer, he would be headlining multiple festivals, most importantly Beach Please in Romania, where he performed in front of 122,000 people, where everyone knew the songs word by word. Now in 2025, most fans were expecting Yeat to actually drop.
Because look, the fans would hate online, but I promise you, if you go, y'all said let's go tour, and you go on tour and stuff like that, the fans gonna be like, oh my god, I messed with 2093. Oh, that song was hard, man. When he was going on stage, hitting the little dance to it, he was, yeah, and all that. Man, I was vibing with that. I felt like I was on the stage. Like how you felt that you was on the stage? Like, nigga.
Dangerous Life, another full-length album, but instead of that, Yeat decided to take a different route, as in August he ended up dropping A Dangerous Summer, a short 11-track EP where Yeat not only experimented with some stuff we've never heard before, but also gave us the aggressive rapping he's known for. He would open up the project with an old 2023 track which was previously fan-named Billion, but with a fresh intro. Pretty sure Yeat put this on here simply to appease the older fans, and also as this explosive intro introduction to the EP. But then for the rest of the project, we really got a lot of new sounds. We had songs like Come and Go, Growing Pains, Two Tone, Fly Night, which were these slower, softer, more heartfelt songs that really showed us how much Yeat has evolved since he blew up. Loose Leaf, where Yeat integrated his heavenly groaning into the background of the beat. ADL is Coming, an experimental type of song teasing us for what's to come on his next album. Overall, this project was very impressive. It seemed like everyone loved it. And even if you didn't like the entire thing, due to the range of sounds, there was definitely a song for you. The project ended up selling 34k first week, with 18,000 of those coming from actual streams, which honestly isn't bad for a surprise drop EP with no rollout. But what was the most impressive part about this project was Come and Go, which is slowly growing to be one of Yeat's biggest songs. On the 17th of October, Come and Go had its biggest day ever on Spotify, with 901,000 streams in a single day, surpassing songs such as Nokia, Anxiety and Dark Thoughts, making it one of the highest streamed rap songs released in 2025, with it currently sitting on just under 50 million streams, currently his #1 song on Spotify, which is insane considering it only dropped 2 months ago. In a year or so, I wouldn't be surprised if this song is sat on 200 or maybe 300 million streams. It's a banger and is growing rapidly. And I think this is such an important song for Yeat because it's proof that he's here to stay. He's had multiple hits with his Rage style, multiple hits with his 2093 style, and now a brand new hit with Come and Go, which I guess is like a mix of singing and rapping, this new A Dangerous Life era. It's really nuts how versatile he is. He's not just another TikTok rapper that is hot for a year or two, that will get stale and fall off. He's here to stay and thrive for many more years to come. And it isn't only Come and Go that is blowing up, Two Tone and Put It On God are also two of Yeat's highest streamed songs right now. But even though Yeat just dropped an incredibly successful project, he wasn't done. Just a couple weeks later, he would appear in Drake's Iceman episode 3, where they would then drop Doghouse with Julia Wolf. This song wasn't the hit I was personally hoping from them. Julia's singing was great, Drake's part was catchy, and unfortunately Yeat's verse was way too short, but it was still nice. And it's still doing a solid 200,000 streams daily, it could just be one of them slow growers. And whilst in Europe for the Iceman video, Yeat would actually be performing with Drake for around a week or two. And I should have probably mentioned this earlier, but I think Yeat's weight loss was incredibly important on this whole revival of his career. We've seen how incredible Gunna's transformation was and how much it boosted his image, and I feel the same is happening to Yeat. After that Go to Work music video, he was looking like one of them 40-year-old uncles with a beer belly, but then a couple months later, we see him lean as hell, wearing tank tops all summer. He got shredded, and beforehand, Yeat was quite shy, never seen in public, and always hiding his face with masks. But now, he's spotted with fans and paparazzi every single day, out and about living life. His evolution and just how much he's changed as a person is quite shocking. I never expected it. I personally thought he was always going to be this druggy underground SoundCloud rapper. But now, a lot of you may be wondering, well, what's next for Yeat? Because it really seems like he's done it all already. Well, firstly, it seems like he's starting to give out a lot.
Yeat gonna keep on dropping to the end of time. Y'all gonna fuck with him or y'all just gonna leave him alone. Simple. And that's how everybody is. It's either you gonna fuck with that rapper in the long run or you gonna cut him off when this person say this or that or that. So it is what it is.
Of love to the upcoming generation. He recently shouted out UK artist SD Kid during his Australia tour, where he called him his evil twin. And if you don't know who SD Kid is, well, I don't know where you've been for the past 3 months. This dude has quite literally blown up faster than Yeat. He dropped his first song a year ago and was already at 4 million monthly listeners. He would also co-sign Osamason and Zucchini, with Yeat and Zucchini dropping a song together on Benny X's album very soon. Now on to Yeat's next project, A Dangerous Life. In a recent interview with Complex, Yeat will talk about his upcoming album. This new era is more polished and meticulous. I'm really dialing in the world and the sounds. I'm doing everything myself. I'm still mixing, mastering and producing, and every little echo and thing you hear in the song will always be me. But I'm a lot more open to making records better, where he would later say he's been singing more and experimenting more with his ad-libs and production. He would then go on to describe ADL. It's new. I'm always pushing boundaries and always setting the wave on how I want to shift shift the sound. I'm never scared to go out of any comfort zone and try different sounds. You can't even describe it sound-wise, it's just good music. Yeat's now fully sober, working with new producers, working on new sounds, and it seems like ADL will be a masterpiece. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the likes of Justin Bieber or even Drake on his next project. Definitely some crazy features for sure. And one more thing that I think is really interesting that Yeat spoke about in this interview was no matter how much his fans want the OG sound, it'll never come back as it's constantly evolving.
Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow our social media that pop on the screen. We're on the road to 500. That's why everyone loves Yeat. If you don't like Yeat, you can get the fuck. Real talk, real talk. All right, y'all.